Welcome back. All right, so watch the Flyers and the Bruins, and there you go. So see, I have a Flyers bumper sticker now too. I think I have bumper stickers for every team. I think, which is the way I like. I like the bumper sticker with the logo with the bumper sticker. Of course, Flyers. I like the Chrome logo for them too. So that being said, let us discuss the game that just finished. I know they're doing a shootout. I don't. I mean, I get it. It's preseason, so they're doing a shootout. Apparently, a lot of the Bruins fans were leaving. I don't blame them. And if the announcer said, "Hey, there's a shootout," I would just keep leaving because the game's over. It's not like the shootout changes the result of the game. So I get they want to practice and they want to add a little bit of something for people paying to watch preseason games, but I don't necessarily think it's necessary. All right, Swayman versus Jones. Jeremy Swayman, I thought had a decent game. I didn't think the Flyers tested him a lot, especially 5-on-5. 5-on-5, the Bruins kept us locked down. Now, yes, Boston had most of its likely opening night roster out there tonight. Martin Jones, well, and again, it's preseason, so you don't want to overreact. But I will say this: Cam York made a very persuasive argument tonight for if he's not going to make the roster out of training camp, if he's not going to be on that opening night roster, he should be the first defenseman they call up when somebody gets hurt. Absolutely. So Marchand to Pasternak wouldn't go. This was very early in the game. Sealer flattened Studnicka, who was the second line center tonight. It looks like he's going to get a shot at that role, and if he can excel at that, and you've got Howla on third line, does that put Coyle on fourth line? Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how the center spot's going to work out for Boston. It's going to be interesting. Ristolainen throwing checks as well in his debut for Philadelphia. DeBrusk fires one wide. Boril had a net feed that deflected wide. Wagner then missed the net. Notice there's a lot of net missing going on. The Bruins were having a really hard time hitting the net. None of these shots hit the net. They had a lot of the offensive zone time you want to see, just not the shots. Swayman stopped an Obe Kubel shot, which was the first shot of the game. And then Boril goes to the box. 7 minutes in, during the power play, the shots are still only 1-0 in favor of the Flyers. And then the second shot of the game is Farabee, who gets a power play marker from James Van Riemsdyk at 7:18. Remember, Van Riemsdyk got off to a really hot start last year. It is possible that we'll see Van Riemsdyk get off to a hot start this year too. Now, over an 82-game schedule, how is that going to work? Is he going to be able to keep that up? We'll see. But on the power play tonight, JVR was pretty good. That was on a turnover as well, so JVR forces a turnover. He was good at that tonight too. Geese are fans. The Bruins then tried to answer. Pasternak missed the net. Not his best game, and yet he does get on the scoreboard. York played Studnicka out, but he ends up going to the box on that play. So they were calling the cross-checking pretty closely. That was 2 cross-checking calls already. And anything where you have 2 hands on a stick and you push or you cross-check, that's what they're going to call. It's going to be zero tolerance out of the gate, apparently. And I know it's going to aggravate people. I get it. But I remember all the aggravation about the hooking and holding and how mad people were in 05-06 when, referees were calling everything. Eventually, the players figured it out. They had Don Koharski to talk about this, and I think that's a good call. I think with the way the state of refereeing is, I think every broadcast team could benefit from having a retired referee, and you can find them, retired referee, to talk to when calls are being made. I thought it was good to see Koharski. Now, during that power play, Boston scores. It's Marchand. Hall gets the assist. That's at 9:17, and that was only the third shot of the game for the Boston Bruins. So both goalies, pretty low save percentages out of the gate. Marchand then leads the next rush. The Flyers doing some shot blocking. The Bruins then get a second power play. They score on that one as well. So there's definitely some things to work on here if you're Philly. However, it's only the 5th shot when Craig Smith gets the goal from Foligno and Howla at 12:23. And I really liked the trio of Foligno, Howla, and DeBrusk tonight. If that's going to be a line in the regular season, that could be a really interesting third line. Could put up some goals. DeBrusk tonight started to look, and in the last time I watched him as well, he's starting to look like he did a couple years ago, when he was a goal scorer, and not so much like last year where he was lost and he couldn't get it all figured out, to the point where everybody was pretty convinced going into the offseason DeBrusk had played his last game as a Bruin. So power plays are a combined 3 for 3 at this point. Anybody who's going to say in the comment section below, but the Pettersson and Hughes thing, it's not announced yet, so I can't do a video on Pettersson and Hughes signing contracts. That's likely going to get announced in the morning. So right now we're talking about Philly and Boston. So if you see those comments below this video, by all means, let them know. The Bruins then get another power play. That led to a shorthanded chance for Aube-Kubel. I thought he had a solid game, which caused the Bruins to take a penalty. And so we get 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 18 seconds. During that 4-on-4, Brandon Carlo makes it 3-1 for the Bruins from Hall and Pasternak at 16:41. And I wrote on the board, not great goal. I also tweeted out, Jones needs to save that. And then Keith Jones on the announce team says Jones needs to save that. So while you could look at the first two and say, those are pretty good, that third one, not as much. And again, Martin Jones is looking to have a bounce back here. This is the preseason. If he's going to work it all out, you want him to work out the kinks during the preseason. The stats don't mean anything in a week and a half, but he's got to be able to stop that. So the Bruins kill off their penalty after we get to the Flyers power play. The shots were 10-4 for the Bruins after that power play was done. So Philly not getting enough shots on net. And then at the horn, things get kind of scrummy between these teams. Not that unusual. They really don't like each other much. So we go to the second period. Early save by Swayman. Then we get a power play for the Flyers. And this is where the video feed started to turn kind of gremlins. It was, at times, you could see like the top, I want to say like top fifth of the picture on the bottom. So it was like, okay, old people, come on, gather around. Remember when you'd have the TV and the vertical hold would be just a little bit off, so you're like trying to adjust it for like channel 12, then you go over to channel 8 and then it's a little bit off, so you've got that black bar in the middle and you got like the top part of the screen. That's what it was doing. And then it was like the vertical hold at points wasn't the problem, it was the horizontal and everything's doing this. And I thought, I didn't even know those things still existed. I thought the horizontal and vertical hold were things of the past. So they did acknowledge in between the second and third period too that they'd been having problems with this, and I thought it was just one camera, but it looked like there were numerous angles they were having problems with. So I started thinking there's gremlins in the production truck, and so I had to tweet that out as well. And then on the return we get the bad tracking, as I said, because you had the black line and below that's the top of the screen. Anyways, center ice camera having issues, which was the same for the Flyers power play at that point. The Bruins killed it off. Sealer then had a shot after that was saved. McAvoy had a shot that was blocked by York. Cam York has got to eat. Again, if he doesn't make this team, he has to be the first call-up. I understand he's 20. He doesn't have to clear waivers. It's easier to send him down. But when I hear things during this game like, well, you know, Yandel's probably going to get that spot, and I'm thinking, honestly, as an all-around defenseman, I think York brings more to the table than Yandel. But Yandel does have that consecutive game streak. So, yeah, we'll see what they do with that defense. Maybe you play 7 defensemen and then you give that power play time to Yandel. But I thought York looked good on the power play, too. McAvoy then had a shot blocked by York. There were no Bruins shots in the first 8 minutes of it. Forster then had a shot that was saved. The shots at that point in the period were 4-0 for the Flyers. Zboril then takes his second penalty of the game, the Flyers to the power play. The video went off briefly again. Forster then had a chance that wouldn't go, but it was a good power play. And Sandstrom at this point has taken over from Jones. They don't really have to announce the goalie's changed because the Bruins aren't getting any shots. If the puck's not at that end of the ice, it doesn't really matter if anybody's in the net. And he makes a save with his mask after getting in there. The Bruins then get a power play. This was the 8th total power play in this game to this stage. I think both teams had 4. Good penalty kill work by Nate Thompson, who looks like a good pickup for Philly. Penalties killed off, so Boston dropped to 2 for 4. Zboril then fans on a point shot. The Flyers clear it out. And Swayman stops a shot from Sandin. Not the Toronto Sandin. This is the Philadelphia Sandin, his brother. Smith picks off a pass. The Bruins then pressed after that. And before the second period's out, it's Jake DeBrusk getting on the board from Howla at 18:31. So again, Eric Howla on the board and looking pretty good. And it just seems like the new additions for Boston, it is preseason, they just fit. Foligno looks like a Bruin. Sometimes when a guy wears a jersey, you go, I don't think that looks right. That's not exactly, no. But with Foligno, it just seems to work. So hard-working goal by DeBrusque from behind the net. Marchand then with a net drive. Sandstrom makes the save. Boston gets their 5th power play left with 14.1 seconds left. And Taylor Hall hits the post. Yep. So we go to the third period. The Bruins power play finishes it out to start that third period. It was dangerous. The Flyers did kill it off. Haula and Foligno, good chemistry between them, both on the power play as well as 5-on-5. Studnicka then had a net drive that was stymied. He had another chance. That was saved again. It's important for Studnicka to have a good preseason to solidify his role as one of the top centers for the Bruins. I don't know that he's done that, because the one thing that I do question with Studnicka is his finishing. I'm not sure if it's where you'd want that to be for a second-line center. But again, that's up to Cassidy to decide, and we'll see how it goes. The good news is there's some good finishers on this team, so you can just pass it to the right guy. He'll get his points, right? Bruins playing a good shutdown period to that point. DeBrusque takes a penalty. Flyers go to the power play. York playing the point on the first unit. He fires one wide. Good power play, and then it scores. It's Farabee with his second goal of the game, both of the power play markers. The assists to York and Van Riemsdyk at 9 minutes and 40 seconds. JVR forces another turnover, and Farabee ends up getting the goal on a great pass by York. So York on the board with an assist. Played a lot tonight, and he did not look out of place. He looked like a veteran defenseman. The wins and losses are fine during the preseason, but what you're looking for is those individual performances. York has made a very good argument for himself to be on this team and to make it. Boston then tries to answer, Pastrnak in particular. The Flyers, though, end up getting another power play. They don't score on it. Then Boston gets a bounce off the refs in their favor, or off of a ref, and Pastrnak couldn't bury it in the final 5 minutes. The Flyers weren't getting sustained pressure, and it just seemed to get worse as it went along. They pull the goalie with 1 minute and 20 seconds left, but then with 47.3 seconds left, the Flyers go offside. They're forced to put Sandstrom back in, and Boston keeps it in their zone after that, and that basically ends your game at 4-2. So, pretty good game overall. Boston playing most of their roster expected to be starting opening night in middle of October, and this was their third game, so they're getting a good idea of who's going to make it and who's not. For Philadelphia, there's still some more work to be done, and they gave Carter Hart the night off altogether. I thought Sandstrom played all right. Sandstrom had been written off at one point, a year and a half ago, but who knows? Goaltenders often develop a little bit later. They sometimes take a little bit longer. But we'll see if Jones gets more work before the season gets going, and whether he gets like a full game or what happens. But it wasn't a great night, and yet, again, it is preseason, so you get a clean slate in a couple weeks anyways, and maybe a game like this fires them up. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts about this game in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And yes, when Pettersson and Hughes contracts are officially official, I will definitely do a video about that. But for now, I'm done for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And hey, I'll talk to you guys again soon.